Hi, Dawn.
Hi, how are you?
I am well, and I actually am doing good. So, here we are again after we had a beautiful conversation before. So, I am really, really, really excited about, first of all, the conversation that we had was such a good one. I don't even think it was a long conversation. You were multitasking. I believe you were in traffic. You were handling your business, and we were really just we were mind mapping then. We were going through information, ideas that were going on in your mind about how you wanted to move forward. And then with that, I added the information that I thought was helpful at the time. And then where are you now?
Well, first of all, that last session was really mind blowing because you kind of threw out, hey, I realize you want to put these businesses together, and I wasn't sure exactly in what direction, but you were able to shed a few words and not really the structure of it, but just threw out some words for me to think about, which was branding yourself. Dawn Wiley is the consistent in the factor of things. So you've had several businesses that, and they've been successful. Some you're still trying to put together. Now, how do you put success with new branding, the element of COVID and location, from my brick and mortar situation? And so, that I no longer have the brick and mortar, how do I make this more online presence? So I'm kind of shooting out all my issues or roadblocks, if you will, to be challenged by. And so when you threw out, hey, you're the constant, you're your brand, think about putting that all underneath one. That helped me to kind of then go back into my creative juices, my creative safe place, and begin to see, well, what does Dawn Wiley really want to portray here at this particular time in her life and with these businesses under this climate and COVID and all of that. And I decided that online is the way that I want to go. I think getting back to the brick and mortar in the esthetician, it may be tough. It's tough for me to decide to get out and really put hands on people and be so close. However, I have a lot to give in terms of educating them.
Yes.
Real estate.
Yes.
I'm still doing that, and I educate people every day about the probate process, with the book, as well as just the personality that I have. Probate needs that processing. And then the wellness coach.
Okay.
Again, online educating. So when you said under Dawn Wiley, in education, you threw out some word, and I thought, you know what? As I was in that creative space, I am an educator, and I like educating people.
You did.
More than I do almost anything else of the process, is letting people get armed with the knowledge.
Yes.
To be able to make informed decisions, to be able to navigate, to be able to look better, feel better. And that was eye-opening. So I went to work. You gave me some homework basically to get this handled. And before I knew it, I had the logo, I had the website, and I put all of those things together that have been completely separated. You allowed me to see they really can be under one umbrella. They're really the same gal, just a different message.
Yes. Did you, and I'm trying to remember in that conversation, did you mention that your mother was an educator? Okay. So, my mind is working. And the only reason why I bring that up is because if I'm not mistaken, I believe you said that was not your journey. Like she was the educator. You understood that it was not a problem, but that wasn't your journey. But then the interesting thing is, I'm sure I feel confident enough to say that if we would have had this conversation sometime before your businesses really became successful, I'm pretty sure the suggestion of you being an educator would have been like, no.
Girl,
You
you
know,
are so right. I'm
right?
like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be talking to people. I didn't
Right?
think I had the temperament for it.
Right? Isn't that interesting? But see, the beautiful thing about this is that gift that your mother had, you have and you've always had. But you had to work it out in your timing the way it worked for you. And especially if we would have had this conversation then, the vision in your head would have been the vision of your mom and what she did on the daily. And then you would have said, no, thanks. You know, no disrespect or no offense, but no thanks. That's not how I see myself. But now as we continue the road and build through the road, you've established yourself in the way that you wanted to establish yourself, the way that felt right for you. So now that you've brought all of this, well, now that you have worked this road, and they all, they're all from you. There's no one else in this picture. This is all Dawn Wiley, but you're here in the real estate realm. You're here in the beauty and health realm. You even are marrying the wellness, the mental health realm. And so it's like the question is, and not even a question, but the thing of it is that you have been doing your mother's work all this time.
Wow, that is just as you say it, it's just amazing and mind blowing because I never really connected the dots that way. But you're right. You're right. Education is in my bloodline and just didn't know how to embrace it. And I now realize through your help that I just have been mirroring it, but then co-creating it the way that it's best for me to now receive it. So when you said education, I didn't really think so much about mom so much as I'm thinking, yeah, I educated people with this and wrote a book and then
the traditional, maybe possibly the road to it and the outcome of it wasn't what you saw for yourself.
Yeah.
You had something altogether different. Your thought process and everything, it was just altogether different and you saw it differently. But it's funny how we come full circle to where we're supposed to be in the first place. There's many things that I said, oh no, that's not for me, or I'm not interested, or that's so nice for that person. And I come this far and I find myself going full circle. And that's what this full circle project is all about. That's the whole background and the foundation of it is we're all doing it. It's not just me. I just realized that I went full circle, but now that I look out and I am cultivating my network, cultivating my support system, which you are a part of that as well. Because all I did was listen and then recognize that very thing. And the thing was you. And then the other thing was you're a teacher. You provide information in a way of an educator. And so it was all there. It's just the point. And that's the beauty of the support system is when you have these open dialogue, open conversation, and you have the space to, I say, if I can just have that space to even be wrong, you could have said, you know what, no, yeah, I did say that about my mom, but I didn't feel that way. It wouldn't have been a bad thing. It would have just me conversating with you on my opinion. And then we would have went around another way. And then we would have found ourselves wherever it is that we need to find ourselves. But to have the space to be wrong, to have the space to share, to have the space to learn, to teach, and have that reciprocal type of conversation leads to things like what we had. And as you said, it was one or two words that inspired you to say, oh, with information and tools that you already had, like everything. Exactly. It was already, you're your business. You've done this business. You've done each one of those things for multiple years. You're the professional in that. It took one or two words to assist you in restructuring.
Exactly. And that's important, I think, for anyone, is that it's all about timing. It's all about being open to hear. I was open to hear. This session helped me to be open to hear what I needed to hear to move in this direction. And I feel very good about the direction. I think I'm more complete and whole with now the way in which I'm going to go about this.
Beautiful energy.
But yeah, and that's how I felt. This is me. This is I'm feeling at home with this. I'm feeling, hey, the links are linking to me and all of that good stuff. And this is great. And actually, when I wasn't able to get the .com, as you has suggested, and the .org, I felt like the organization kind of tied in everything, really. And that it probably was more appropriate that it's not a .com, that it is maybe the organization. And then when you got back to me and said, hey, what about the nonprofit piece? I can see how that can connect. I thought, okay, this is even higher. And so I thought this is really, really awesome. So I thank you so much for like charging me with those words, but me being open to hear. And then the next thing as an entrepreneur is doing. Once you hear the word, then you have to go forward and start doing. And I got to it and I felt really good about the end project. So I'm looking forward to more of what it's going to bring me after I complete it totally. There are some things I need to do. I have a program, a 12-week program with the wellness piece, and I'm challenging myself to complete it, and I'm almost there. I'm also wanting to roll out the fancy word now is a master class. I'm not sure if it's that, but a 4-week class on the Titus 2 woman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm feeling like the Titus 2, chapter 2, and I'm, not trying to go religious here, but it has a lot of great nuggets in self-care, business, handling of relationships, all under the second chapter, and that all the verses there, but particularly the verse between 3 and 5, which is putting older women with younger women, and not so necessarily the chronological, but older in wisdom in a particular area to help younger women and vice versa. And I want to have a conversation with these women for 6 weeks, starting in November as we get ready for the holidays to get our mindset and our connection with women and ourselves and all the other responsibilities that we have. And look at these Titus 2 women and see how we can gather those attributes. So what that's done is that brings in again the educator of all the different businesses, from the real estate piece to the wellness to the self-care esthetician, and put it all under one roof, but under the auspice of the Titus 2 attributes.
Wonderful.
And we're going to pull them out. And so I talked to my last little group that I'm coaching, and they thought this was an amazing class that they would like to take. I have a resource that I didn't write, but that I believe in, that we're going to have as a supplemental book to go along with it, and have those conversations that women need to have about relationships, husbands. It's one thing, outside note, to get a husband, but how do you keep him? It's one thing to have children, but how do you love them out of every stage, from childhood to when they leave the home? It's okay to have a business, but then how do you really cultivate it and balance?
Once you have come to the place of what your message is, because you've brought everything together. So now you're going to want to have that one specific message. We talked about your mission and your vision, so that you're going to want to tie in everything and how you see it growing. And then once you're done with that, then you're going to have to find where you're comfortable. Like, what platform are you comfortable on? Whether it's the Instagram, Facebook, whichever one you're comfortable on. And then you're going to have to start engaging your community from that area. And then as you engage your community through that area, then you'll reach out and then share it on other platforms. But your main platform will be whatever it is that you choose. So once you start engaging them, and once they start seeing you, initially people say, you want to be consistent, but you have to work your way to a consistent space, and you have to work your way to where it's comfortable for you. So you're probably going to be all over the map at first.
And what do you mean by that when you say all over the map? I'm going to just turn the fan on.
No problem at all. Well, what I mean is you probably won't have a consistent time of day or a consistent day when you're first beginning that you're engaging with your community. And so with that, it's not a problem. You shouldn't look at it as a problem. You might want to look at it as what day feels more comfortable, what day works for you, the time frame, all of that. And then you would go to trying to lock in a specific day that you do. So what I've done is I've had these conversations posted. They haven't been consistent, but now that the content I have a backlog of content. So now the next, there was the 8th, that was something that was posted, and then there'll be the 25th. So,
okay.
Yeah. So you kind of work your way up to that space where you're like, okay, these are the days I'm going to post. I'm going to do it once a month, once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever it is that works for you and for your business, you'll do it that way.
Okay. And so let me ask you a question. So it's not about what they say, quote unquote, Instagram feels you should do this many postings. It's more comfortability about what's best for you, and your audience will understand how consistent you are and appreciate that, not the rules of Instagram or YouTube or any of that.
I would say that is true. What I would say about that, because they have a larger platform of marketing and people that do specific testing. So they do have that information where they know, but when you're first starting and when your audience you haven't really engaged your audience, and they're not used to seeing you, first of all, and then they're not used to knowing which day you're coming on. You have to teach them. You're teaching yourself, and you're teaching them at the same time. So then they start seeing you, and then they start commenting, and you kind of build on that. And then you cultivate that relationship, and then you'll see more and more people engaging with you. You start asking questions, ask a question, and don't provide the answer until a day or two later, or however it is that you want to approach that. But it's about creating that space for them and then building on it. And then you can get to the structure of what this platform says is the best time and how many times and all that. But you have to work your way up to that. So that's what
Good points. I hope in the future, though, you will tell entrepreneurs, because it's something I am noticing when you do get on these platforms, is that it's not only preparing and finding the right time and your content and how beautiful and all that you look online. Also, you have to be prepared and ready for the social life.
That's a great takeaway.
Yeah. I'm finding that I'm looking at people and they're talking, on YouTube and what have you, and I see them kind of going through challenges of people going into their DM or, certain things that they're not liking. And I think in order to be a good entrepreneur, we have to be proactive about the very things that we have to deal with in our business. And maybe for a brick and mortar, you're not dealing with the same social things that you're dealing with to me here on YouTube. Oh, your hair was out of place, or, your teeth didn't look right, versus maybe if I'm as an esthetician doing something or a wellness, they may not say that or, put that where everyone else can see that message. Yeah. So I think we may want to talk in the future about when you get there and you finally hone into all of this, how can you prepare your mental ability to deal with some of the odd comments or different things that you may deal with, and how to keep